Hi, this is Mark from Gorge Forum. We just got back from the Hood River City Council Planning Commission meeting. This is May 2nd, 2011. And what they're proposing to do is change the zoning in the city on property that's currently zoned for both commercial development as well as residential development. What they want to do is just change it to be that property restricted, that they could just to commercial development. And the effect of which would obviously be to greatly reduce the amount of available housing in the city. So at the meeting we gave testimony and other people gave testimony, so what you're about to see is some of that testimony. So the way I understand it, first of all, there's a study that's done, and it's showing that in the next 10 to 20 years, there's going to be so much growth, and 500 new jobs, 1,000 new jobs, whatever, this sort of thing. Now, I don't know exactly how, this sort of prediction came about. I would certainly take it with a grain of salt. I mean, 20-year forecast, we know what you look at the weather report 3 days out, how accurate that is. But, I don't know what kind of crystal ball they've got, or, channel some all-seeing eye or what, but somehow, let's assume, but for the sake of argument, let's assume that that's correct, that they know exactly how much development, how many new jobs are going to come into the city, and so we need so much, another 50 to 100 acres of commercial space. Let's assume that's true. What do you do about that problem? Well, it seems like the suggestion is let's find that here's some property that's zoned at both commercial and residential, and let's just unilaterally change the terms of the contract and violate people's property rights and just change it to commercial. Well, yeah, you can do that. I mean, I guess you're the government. I mean, I guess it's probably technically legal. It doesn't sound very moral to me. Lying, or not holding up your end of a contract and stealing people's property. But that's if that's what you want to do. But there's another approach, which is, why not? There's thousands of acres of other land that's zoned in such a way that it precludes the commercial development. Why not offer to extend the zoning on that property to include commercial development? What I would say is you go to the property owners and say, hey, would you like to, we're going to change the terms here and change the zoning in such a way that you have all the rights you have right now in addition to the commercial one. If you want it, fine. If you don't, okay, fine. I'm sure you'll get enough people that will say, yeah, let's mutually agree to change the terms of this contract. So, the question is, I don't understand why, who wouldn't want to do that? If that's the way it was, I got no problem with it. And, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have to, be going out and gathering signatures for a referendum. We wouldn't have to have a special election or anything like that. I don't see any problem with that. So I don't know, unless I'm missing something. So that's my main point. In terms of the changes that we're seeing being proposed, that it's being watered down somewhat in terms of how aggressive the zoning changes. The restrictions, yeah, I guess you could say that's in the right direction, but it's pretty obvious what's going on there. Like Nilsa said, it's the old, well, let's slow down how fast we're boiling the frog. Let's stick it to them halfway now, and we'll stick it to the rest of them later.
I really don't like our rights be taken away from us on a constant basis. The projections that this is going to happen and that's going to happen, and it doesn't happen. But they keep changing the zone, so we have our freedoms taken away from us, and we have to fight the system. So please be careful when you go dealing with our rights, when you go deciding what to do. Like I say, I have paid commercial taxes. I went in 1985 to have this particular piece of property that I'm working with right now taken off of the commercial and put into either forest or open land or something. The tax people would not allow me to do it because they wanted my money. They wanted my commercial tax money. And so for all of these years, I've been paying it. And now you're possibly going to take my rights away from me. I don't think that's okay.
It seems to me that the issue is that there's only so much C2 land, and so we have to use it wisely. So why is it always that we have to restrict and eliminate in the language? Why don't you allow the market, as was suggested, and let people have a little freedom? Why don't you maybe think about letting some certain residential have a little more freedom and let them put some retail on the residential areas where it makes sense? I just think that your economic opportunities and analysis, eliminating and restricting property rights, never brings about economic opportunities. You know, I came here in the 70s, and who would have thought 20 or 40 years later that drones and windsurfing were going to be some major industries here in Hood River? This is a theory, folks. That's all it is. You don't know what's going to happen in 20 years, but people that have property, that have an investment, that hard-earned money, will make the right decisions with their property. I don't know why you think that this study is going to say what's best for property right owners. People, freedom. Why are you so afraid of it? I am also the sole petitioner for an initiative to get the proposed $24 million Middle Mountain Windmill project on the ballot. So voters have a say.
We need to stay on topic.
This is part of the topic. Please just give me, I think I have a couple more minutes.
As long as you're staying on the topic of the economic.
This is relevant.
For the city of Hood River?
This is relevant. And anyway, so I am the sole petitioner for this initiative, and it's to get the proposal on the ballot. And I meet every first Friday in front of Betty's Place, and we collect signatures, and this has been very successful. I'm also going to start a referendum on starting a referendum on this zone change, and I am going to be collecting signatures in front of Betty Place on first Friday for anybody that wants support in that. Thank you for the time. I very much appreciate it.